Welcome to this explainer on the critical framework of engineering ethics. Think of it as the invisible blueprint that makes sure the world we build is not only functional, but also safe and just for every single one of us. It's really the difference between a bridge that stands for a century and one that, well, tragically doesn't.
So let's just dive right in with a scenario. I want you to imagine you are that engineer. All the calculations work, the materials check out, they're strong, but there's a much deeper question you have to answer. A question that goes way beyond the technical stuff and deep into the moral. Let's explore what that question is.
Okay, so before we can even begin to answer that question for our bridge engineer, we've got to build a solid foundation for ourselves. What are we actually talking about when we use the word ethics?
At its very heart, ethics is a system. It's the branch of philosophy that gives us a framework for making those really tough moral choices. And this isn't about random opinions or just what feels right. It's about using reason to figure out the right thing to do.
This really helps clear up some common mix-ups. Ethics isn't just about following the law. I mean, you can do something that's perfectly legal but still profoundly unethical. And it's also not tied to any one religion or simply based on a gut feeling. It's a rigorous framework built on duty and principle. And this quote from the philosopher Immanuel Kant just nails the point. The law governs our actions, right? But ethics governs our intentions, our character. For an engineer, this means that even just thinking about cutting corners on a project is an ethical problem, even if nobody ever finds out.
All right, so now that we've got a decent handle on what ethics is, let's see how this idea applies specifically to the world of engineering. What exactly makes being a professional different from just having a job? Think about it. What separates a profession like engineering from pretty much any other job? It's these things right here. The work isn't routine. It demands complex judgment. There are high standards for getting in and staying in. But what do you think is the most important piece of this puzzle?
This is it. An engineer's client might be a company or a government, sure, but their ultimate commitment, their promise, is to society. This duty to serve the public good is the absolute bedrock of professional ethics. Everything else is built right on top of this.
And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important, non-negotiable principle in all of engineering ethics. Seriously, if you remember just one thing from all this, it should be this right here.
And there you have it. The #1 rule from the National Society of Professional Engineers. Hold paramount. Think about that word. It doesn't say consider or keep in mind. It means this duty comes before your duty to your client, to your company, and even to yourself. It's the North Star for every single decision.
Okay, but let's be real. What happens when duties clash? When a decision to protect public safety might cost your company millions of dollars or maybe even your job? The right call isn't always so obvious. So how do you navigate those murky waters?
Well, philosophy gives us two main ways to look at these tough calls. On one hand, you can focus on the outcome. This is called utilitarianism. You basically do a cost-benefit analysis and pick the action that creates the most good for the most people. But on the other hand, you can focus on the action itself. That's duty-based ethics, and it says some things are just right or wrong, period, no matter what happens as a result.
This quote from John Stuart Mill is the perfect summary of that outcome-focused view. It's all about maximizing the good results. So for a bridge engineer, a utilitarian approach might mean choosing a slightly less safe design if it means the bridge gets built faster and can serve way more people.
And this represents the other side of the coin, the duty-based view. It argues that every single person has a dignity and rights that just can't be sacrificed for some greater good. So a duty-based engineer would say that even a small risk of a catastrophic failure is totally unacceptable, no matter how many people the bridge might help.
Okay, so all of this high-level philosophy is great, but how do these big ideas actually get translated from the classroom into practical rules that engineers can use every single day?
This is where professional codes of conduct come in. These codes, like the one from the IEEE, that's the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, they take those abstract concepts and forge them into clear, actionable rules. Let's check out a few.
This is about as clear a duty-based rule as you can get. It doesn't say reject bribery unless it helps the project. No, it's an absolute. This is the rule that stops an engineer from taking a kickback to approve a cheap material, even if it saves the client money in the short run.
Here's another one, a direct command. This gets right to the heart of an engineer's duty to the truth. You can't overstate what a product can do or understate the risks. It's all about being a trusted, honest source of information.
And this one is all about accountability. You can't pass the buck. The code makes it clear that as a professional, you own the consequences of your work and the judgments you make. The buck stops with you.
So, you see, following these codes does way more than just keep an individual out of trouble. It builds public trust. It's like the invisible scaffolding that supports our modern world, allowing us to have faith in the people who design our power grids, our medical devices, and the software that runs our lives.
And this brings us right back to where we started. You know, whether we're building a physical bridge out of steel or the algorithms for an AI, the challenges get more complex, but that fundamental question stays the same. Amid all the complexity, the one principle we have to hold paramount is our duty to the safety, health, and welfare of the public. That's the core of engineering ethics. It's not just about building things right, it's about building the right things.